I want to take you back to Colorado, and let's just go ahead and bring up these live pictures here where the president has just, there's a group of people. Here they are, and the president was in the midst of this this group of people. This is a fire station in Colorado Springs. He, of course, is there to tour and take a look at, with his own eyes, the devastation and the destruction from multiple fires that have been burning. I want to bring in Dan Lothian, who I know is also somewhere nearby. And Dan, we thought that the president would give some sort of live statement. I see a podium. Is that still happening or not the case anymore?
Right. You know, we were just told by the pooled reporter that live statement has been canceled because earlier the president was taking a tour of the Mountain Shadows neighborhood, which is here in Colorado Springs. And at that point, someone asked him a question and he decided to start making some statements there. And so these sort of more formal statements now have been canceled. But during that tour, the president had a chance to see some of the devastation up close. And he remarked how, you know, it was amazing that you had a number of homes that were wiped out, but then right next to them you would have homes that are still standing. The president met with some of the firefighters who were there. He thanked them for their hard work and said that because of what they had done, countless lives had been saved. I mean, this is a chance for the president, as his aides point out, to come here and tell the people of Colorado that, yes, they're dealing with a very difficult situation, but that the federal government will provide all the help that they need, resources on the ground, money, and in addition to that, the military will be sending specially outfitted C-130 aircraft here to help in the firefighting effort, Brooke.
Okay, and as we look at these pictures, and many of them coming from our own iReporters, many of them coming from the denverpost.com, we hear that, I'm sure, what are helicopters buzzing above you. Just quickly to give our viewers, just Dan, stand by with me. Actually, check that. Here's the president. Take a listen.
Obviously, you guys, everybody in? Come on. Well, we just had a chance to tour some of the damage that's been done by this devastating fire. I've had a chance to thank Mayor Bach as well as Governor Hickenlooper and the entire congressional delegation, members of the fire service, the Forest Service, as well as local fire officials have gotten a full briefing. I think what you see here is an example of outstanding coordination and cooperation between federal, state, and local agencies. We have been putting everything we have into trying to deal with what's one of the worst fires that we've seen here in Colorado. And it's still early in the fire season, and we've still got a lot more work to do. But because of the outstanding work that's been done, because of not only the coordination, but also some unprecedented arrangements that have been made with military resources combined with the civil resources, we're starting to see progress. Obviously, as you saw in some of these subdivisions, the devastation is enormous, and our thoughts and prayers go out to all the families who've been affected. One of the things that I've tried to emphasize is that whether it's fires in Colorado or flooding in the northern parts of Florida, when natural disasters like this hit, America comes together. And we all recognize that there but for the grace of God go I. We've got to make sure that we have each other's backs. And that spirit is what you're seeing in terms of volunteers, in terms of firefighters, in terms of government officials. Everybody's pulling together to try to deal with the situation. Now, as I said, we're not completely out of the woods yet. These folks, some of them have been working 18-hour days, 20-hour days, trying to make sure that these fires get put out. They're going to be carefully monitoring the situation. Ultimately, they're going to need a little bit of help from Mother Nature in order to fully extinguish these fires. In the meantime, some lessons are being learned about how we can mitigate some of these fires in the future, and I know that the mayor and the governor and other local officials are already in those conversations. It means that hopefully out of this tragedy, some long-term planning occurs, and it may be that we can curb some of the damage that happens the next time, even though you obviously can't fully control fires that are starting up in these mountains. Last point I just want to make, and that is that we can provide all the resources. We can make sure that they're well coordinated. But as I just told these firefighters, what we can't do is to provide them with the courage and the determination and the professionalism, the heart that they show when they're out there battling these fires. When we had a chance on site to see some guys who had just saved 3 homes in a community that had been devastated. For those families, the work and the sacrifice of those firefighters means the world to them. And they are genuine heroes. And so we want to just say thank you to all the folks who've been involved in this. We're proud of you. We appreciate what you do each and every day. And so for folks all around the country, I hope you are reminded of how important our fire departments are, our Forest Service is. Sometimes they don't get the credit that they deserve until your house is burning down or your community is being threatened. And you have to understand they're putting their lives at risk to save us and to help us. We've got to make sure that we remember that 365 days a year, not just when tragedies like this strike. So thank you very much, everybody.
And there he was, the president, reiterating thoughts and prayers, of course, go out to the folks who are in the middle of this disaster zone with these wildfires that have been raging on in Colorado, flanked by the governor, Hickenlooper, and the Colorado Springs mayor, Mayor Bach. Let's go back to Dan Lothian, because, Dan, I guess we thought the president wasn't going to speak, and he did. So, surprise!
That's right. And, you know, just to explain to our viewers, what happens is that we have a pool producer who's there sort of coordinating what the president is, you know, coverage of the president and getting information from the White House. And so the White House had initially planned for this live statement. But when the president was touring this neighborhood, talking to firefighters, he was asked a question by a reporter, and he began sort of this impromptu statement. After that, the White House alerted the pool that, in fact, there would be no live statement. But as you see there, they made last-minute changes, and in fact, he stepped up to the mic and made that address. But the bottom line, the president, again, promising to the federal government's full support to the state that has been impacted by these fires, not only here in Colorado Springs, but in the northern part of the state. More than 600 homes have been destroyed, 2 people killed. The fire here is only 15% contained. The fire in the north is 85% contained, Brooke.
Yep, and the president speaking there at a fire station, so important as we think about the people who are losing homes or evacuating, also the firefighters who are certainly putting themselves in harm's way. Dan Lothian, thank you so much for that. Forget the politics, forget the legal details. Many of you are asking, what does the health care law mean for me and my medical bills? We're about to break it down for you. I promise you're going to understand all of this with Elizabeth Cohen's help right after this.